again, welcome to day 27 of distance learning. Today we have reading, science, and math. And like I've said before, there is no official writing, but I would encourage you to have your child just take some time and journal or write about a favorite topic. It's really kind of like a free choice write time, I'd say, just so they're in that practice. But for reading today, we have a few activities just like usual. Choose one 20-minute activity, and I believe I've said before, even I would say even 30 minutes would be a good appropriate challenge for a second grader at this time. So if your child's up for that, I'd highly suggest they do that. For reading, they can read this book on Raz Kids, Shoes Around the World. Just a little interesting read and to learn about other cultures. If they don't want to do that, they can get on to Raz Kids and read a book of their choice. And then there's, of course, ABC Mouse, Adventure Academy, and if you need the login for that, it's on slide 4 right here. ABC Mouse and Adventure Academy should be the same login. And then, of course, there's the choice of reading their favorite book as well. But just kind of 20 or 30 minutes of reading for today. Then for science, we're talking a little bit more about properties of materials. And today specifically, we're talking about how different materials have different amounts of friction. And we talked a lot about friction in our nonfiction writing unit, actually, because the focus was around force and motion. So they should know what friction is. If they don't, just give them a little quick review. It's surfaces working against each other, causing them to stop. It causes heat and resistance. So the reason they might need to know this is because for their science activity today, they are going to do an activity called the Great Shoe Slide. Again, this is something we would be doing in the classroom, and it's lots and lots of fun. So they'll watch this video. It's a safe share video. I checked to make sure it works, and it works. And it will kind of review friction with them. So if you want to have them watch that first and have them describe it to you before they do the activity, make sure they understand it, and then they can begin. So for the challenge today, students will conduct an investigation comparing the amount of friction between different types of shoes. So they will pick 2 different shoes that they have. It could be yours or theirs, with different types of soles. So I would highly recommend if they have a flip-flop to do something like that. When you look at the bottom of it, it should be pretty smooth. And then if they have a tennis shoe, that would be another option that would be a good choice because it's so different from a flip-flop. A lot of them have a lot of texture and a lot of ridges and are made of rubber. So some kind of sandal and some kind of tennis shoes I would recommend. And then they will move to a room in your home that has a smooth floor. It could be hardwood, it could be tile, just not carpet, I would say. And they'll place their shoes on one side of the room in front of an invisible line or a piece of tape, not like just an object because they have to slide their shoe across it. So just make sure they're starting at the same point. And then I would also make sure they have this with them. This is the Great Shoe Slide. Let's see if I can open it here. This is their journal where they're going to record their distances. So make sure that they have this with them. They can write flip-flop here, sneaker here, and they will be doing 3 trials for each shoe just to see how far it will go. And they're going to basically be pushing it forward, and they are not throwing the shoe. So maybe line up behind it and push it forward and see how far it will go 3 times. Record it in their journal page, and they'll do that for each shoe. And then they will answer the reflection questions down here. And then hopefully by the time they're done, they will see that the flip-flop will travel farther than the tennis shoe because there's less friction with the flip-flop. And the reason that there's less friction is because it's made of foam, which is really smooth, while the tennis shoe is made up of rubber with lots of ridges, which makes it a little harder to move forward and creates more friction. So that's kind of the big takeaway. Students usually enjoy this. It's lots and lots of fun, so have some fun with it. And then for math, it's about finding unknown measurements. It's basically using measurements in word problems. So they can either solve these 2 problems. Here, I'll say this is definitely a lot shorter. So if you're finding yourself short on time and just want to have them do these 2 problems, that's fine with me. But there's also the Envision Work Mat if you want them to spend a little bit more time on this. It's mostly word problems with measurements where they're having to think through, do I need to add or do I need to subtract? Is kind of the big thing they'll need to know. That's probably where the biggest errors will happen. They might see this here. Felipe's pencil box is 24 centimeters long Joe's pencil box is 3 centimeters shorter than Felipe's. How long is Joe's pencil box? So they should know to do 24 minus 3, but I know some students might just see 24 and 3 and add them together. So make sure they really think through what it's asking them to do to find the missing number. And so yeah, that's the work map for today. Again, this will obviously take longer, so if you have some time and want them to really dig in on this, that's great. If you don't have a lot of time today, then they can do this first activity. And then of course there's the fluency practice, fixed add and war to play with someone, or math playground, and they can also get on Greg Tang. You can open up yesterday's. They can get on we've done Prodigy a lot, so if you need any logins from me, just let me know. I sent them way back at the beginning, but I know it's been a while, so that is it for day 27. Nothing is officially due today, so have some fun, take some time, no stress about this. Just make sure your child is doing these activities to stay on track and keep in that learning mindset. Thank you so much for all of your hard work, and I hope you guys have a terrific Tuesday.